Sasquatch, ghost, dogman, aliens, demons, shadow people, skinwalkers, even the Fae. Our universe is vast, dark, and wrought with infinite unexplained phenomena. We have tasked ourselves with assisting humanity in finding the keys to unlock the mysteries that abound in and around our world. What we intend to reveal behind the curtain of darkness may very well invoke those fears long tucked away in our memories. We will meet that fear head on as we strive to shine the light of understanding on these phenomena. The goal is to arm you with the power of knowledge to confront and even combat these entities. We welcome you to join us on our quest. We are Midwest Night Watchers.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Piercing the Veil. Tonight we have a special guest, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. I'm sure you all know and watched his shows before. And, you know, we're excited to have him on because Rob just finished putting out his brand new book, True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1. So you'll have to get that on Amazon. We'll have a link in the show for you to check out, and we can't wait to get into all of his stories. We're probably not going to dive into his stories in the book, so you'll have to go out and get it or check it out to figure out what's all in there. But we'll go ahead and bring Rob up and get going. Hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Hello, Gerald and Jane. I was just commenting, Gemini Moon says Texas voice just sounds so sexy.
Yeah, we were so pleased that he did that intro for us.
Yeah, I love our intro. Yeah,
it is.
He did such a good job.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, Tex, he's got that deep voice. When he can record, it sounds really awesome.
I tried doing it myself, and it's just like, I don't like my voice. So I reached out to Tex, and then shortly after I did that for Tex, Andy Decodes asked me to do his intro. So my voice is on his show, and everybody thinks it's you. By the way, they keep thinking, is this BMR? Who is this?
Oh no, yeah. Well, hey, you know,
I don't think we sound that much alike at all.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird about your voice. When I started doing the podcast or the YouTube channel, well, I would always listen back. Say, man, my voice is just not fit to do a show. But as you get on, you learn how to improve on all that stuff,
right?
Because it's repetition, and I read up on a lot of the broadcasters out there, just the tricks of the trade. And if you're doing a show, as long as I've been doing it for 2 years now, and some I take serious, so you really, you try to put out a quality product for your audience, right? And that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I actually recorded it on my cell phone, just in the audio recorder, just for the fun of it, just to send it to him. Say, hey, is this what you're talking about? And he took it and used it. So I didn't actually get to do it in front of my good microphone or software. It's just right off the cell phone.
I listened to it and I said, that's not your voice. I said, yeah, it is. And I said, that didn't sound like you. It was real low. And welcome to it.
Yeah, I changed my octave of my voice and kind of made it a little creepy for him.
Yeah, well, I think that they do have apps now where you can talk your normal voice and you can actually make it sound different. I'm not all into that, but I guess there's certain apps that you can do that. But it's weird when you record your own voice; it does sound different. Just like I remember listening to myself back on a telephone. You don't sound like if you're in real life. You know what I mean? It just sounds different to me. So.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I used to practice doing voices, like imitations when I was a kid and growing up, different celebrities and stuff. So I can change my voice pretty good, but I just don't like it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
When I
try to do impressions as a kid growing up too. I think we've all tried to sound like actors and stuff or people on TV. So.
Or cartoon characters.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
So I thought tonight we'd change it up a little bit and talk about some ghosts or maybe some experiences that you normally don't talk about.
Yeah, we can get into that. I got it's funny because I wrote this book and then I was thinking, well, it says book one. Then I was thinking, well, I got enough. I can probably do a book two, depending. Like I told you guys backstage, how good this one does. But I'm also thinking about doing my own personal experiences. Yeah, everyone knows I had a Bigfoot encounter, but ever since the age of 5, I started having lots of weird encounters or experiences, primarily paranormal type, a ghost type, you
Wow.
know. And I remember at the age of 5. Now, some people probably heard some of these stories. I don't tell them all the time. Like I know Krista, who's in chat's probably heard most of them. So Krista, you're just gonna have to, kick back. But however, though, when I was 5, though, because really this is how it set me on this path, and really, to be honest, I think a lot of this led to my actual Bigfoot encounter.
Mm.
Because throughout your life, I've had all these strange and weird things, and a lot of these things I always kept in. As a kid, I didn't really tell a lot of people, and I just thought I was just weird or whatever. And so, and a lot of the stuff is kind of like embarrassing, like especially as a little kid. I remember I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I'm in my bedroom. Me and my brother's sleeping. We have bunk beds, top and bottom, and for whatever the reason, my mom, dad, they decided to paint our bedroom walls like a sky blue. And whatever, and there was like little clouds and stuff in the background. So I guess for a kid, it was fine. And one night I woke up, I see a ghost on the wall, and at least that's what I'm thinking it is. But I got up straight up in bed, and I'm looking at it, and it's funny though, because the ghost was simply looked like a person that had a white sheet on with black eyes. Like how the easy Halloween outfit for a kid. If you can't afford a costume, I know a lot of people, whatever their budget is, they'll get a white sheet, cover up their kids, and they can make a cool ghost, outfit out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I saw, and I used to see this all the time, and I could never fall back to sleep. In fact, I had gone down ran to my mom and dad's room. "Ma, Dad, there's a ghost in the bedroom." And then, of course, as parents do, you were probably dreaming, you didn't see a ghost, no more late night television for you, kiddo, or whatever. So it's like, okay, but I know I've seen something because I know that I'm not dreaming. But it's weird because there's one night that I seen this ghost again. So I jumped. I was in the top bunk. I was the older brother. My brother was a couple of years younger. I see this ghost again. I jump out of my bed. I get down on the lower bunk and I wake up my brother, and I'm staring at this wall, and this ghost is on this wall dancing and parading about.
Hmm.
I wake up my brother, Dave. His name's Dave. Look at the wall. I tell you, I'm not dreaming because look, I'm awake, and I woke up my brother, and I'm talking to my brother. He looks at the wall. He don't see anything, and I'm still seeing this ghost. So I tell my brother, "Go wake up mom and dad, because I don't want to leave the room because I can still see this thing." He goes, "Why? There's nothing there." I said, "Just go get mom and dad." So wakes up mom and dad. They come in the room, and I'm asphyxiated staring at this ghost jumping about on the wall. My mom and dad come in, they look, they don't see anything.
Hmm.
Robbie, go back, man. And they know I'm asleep, and they think that maybe they don't know what's going on. In fact, it got to the point that my mom started getting a little bit worried about, my mental health because I would tell them about this ghost like all the time. For whatever the reason, it went away after a couple years. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward you all the way from 5 years old to 26 years old when I was married. I was with my wife, living with her after we were married for about a year, and we're in our bedroom. We're laying in bed together. And I wake up, and guess what I see on the back wall parading and jumping around?
Oh man.
Wow.
It's that ghost from when I was 5. I don't wake her up, but now I feel a sick pit in my stomach, right? I'm like, I can't believe this is happening to me again. I get out of bed and I'm walking to leave to go to the bathroom or put some cold water on my face, but this thing is still there. I put cold water on my face, I go back to bed. Well, in fact, when I enter the bedroom now, it is gone. I'm like, man, thank God. About a week or 2 later, it's the same thing happens, sleeping with the wife. Now I wake her up and I'm up. She knows I'm up. As I wake her up, I tell her, "What do you see on the wall?" She goes, "I don't remember." She certainly didn't see a ghost. She goes, "What the hell are you talking about? Maybe some dust? Is there some?" I go, "No, ain't no dust on the wall. Look, there's a ghost on the wall, for God's sakes." She looks at me like, "Go back to bed." And she just, put the pillow over her head and went to sleep.
Wow.
So that happened. So that's the 2 ghosts that I see. Well, I've seen many more than that, but this has kind of led to some other things. And again, when I'm 26 or 27, my wife and I would go to all these antique shops and buy all these antiques.
Mm.
And we bought them from all over the state of Michigan. And if we travel, because we did quite a bit of traveling when we were younger, and if we were in Chicago or Illinois, we'd stop in antique shops and buy trinkets. It could be creepy looking things. It could be horses. It could be old cars, whatever, like little miniature cottages, cabins, all sorts of stuff, trains. And so we started collecting these things over the course of a few years being married. And what we had in our house is we had in a foyer. When you walked in, we had this foyer, and then we had a room adjacent to it where we had all these curio cabinets where we would put all of these things that we collected, from all these antique shops, thrift shops, wherever we happen to stop. So again, remember that these things we've collected are in this room, and they're pretty cool looking. We have some cool curio cabinets with glass and lights and everything. So one night I'm sitting in an area where we watch TV, right? And we had a big, huge room, and it was, with the television, it was like like TV area. So, anyways, I'm dark. It's dark. It's totally dark in this room, and I'm looking on the back wall, and I see a shadow emerge from the darkness.
Oh.
Oh.
So imagine this, everybody. You're in a black room, yet a shadow darker than darkness appears.
Wow.
Oh my.
Yeah. And it's sitting there and it's staring at me. I can feel it staring at me. I don't see eyes. I see this ghostly shape. And the thing about this ghostly shape, it had the same shape as the ghosts I've seen in my youth, right? It's kind of
Oh.
like that type
Wow.
of shape. So then all of a sudden, as time went on, I would see shadows out of the corner of my eyes, right? Now it wouldn't happen just at nighttime. It would happen during the day throughout the house. A month or 2 goes by, and I go to my wife, "I gotta tell you something." She goes, "Well, what?" "I'm seeing these shadows in the house. Some are like an apparition. Some are like that ghost I tried to tell you about some time ago." And she looks at me and she says, "Oh, really?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "Why?" She goes, "I've been seeing the same shadows in the house as well out of the corner of my eyes and on that back wall, but I didn't want to tell you
Hmm.
because I'd have thought you thought I was nuts or something." Just like when I woke her up in the middle of the night pointing at a ghost in the bedroom. So we're kind of now we both see it. We know that we're not making this up in our minds because we're fully awake, and this goes on for some time. So this is back whatever year it was, the 90s, I guess. So we weren't into, we never watched like ghost shows or movies. Yeah, we watch like ghost movies, but not like we have today with every channel's got a ghost travel story or
Right.
cryptid channel. So she got a hold of somebody that I don't recall if it was a medium, a ghost hunter, or something, but it was somebody that knew about the paranormal or ghosts came into the house. And it was a young lady at the time about our age. He's going through all the bedroom, all the house, all the rooms. She started, I think, in the kitchen. And we had like a sprawling, like ranch style. So there's a lot of different rooms, bedrooms, bathrooms. Gets through every single room, but she gets to the room, the curio cabinet room with all the antiques are.
Mm.
And as soon as she walks into this room, her attitude changed.
Oh.
She felt cold. She's explaining this now. She got the chills. She felt cold. She said, "There's a presence coming from this room." And me and my wife, Rachel, her name is. I mean, I assume so. It's been a while. We look at each other. Oh, you're kidding. She goes, "Where'd you guys, let me ask, what are all these trinkets and antiques? Where do you get those from?" And we went on to explain that we collected them from throughout the years. We were into this. We liked it. I mean, my wife turned me on to it. I never knew about these things, but then it was kind of a thing. I said, "Yeah, this is pretty cool." So he said, "We've collected from all over." She goes, "Well, I'm sensing that there's something in here which is causing you to see these shadow people." Now she says the word shadow people. And today it makes sense because we all hear the story now about shadow people today, right?
Right.
Yep.
So we're like, really? So we're like, what do we do? So I guess she goes through a ritual or whatever, but she said, "I highly suggest you just get rid of this stuff. Get rid of it." She goes, "And then I will, I guess, do a cleansing or whatever process she went through." So we're like, really? And we kind of are reluctant. We said, "Okay, we'll have you come back." Because we said, we got to think about this. So we sat down because we really did not want to take all the stuff out of the room. We liked it. And we're
Right.
still skeptical, even though we're seeing these crazy images. We're still like, really, ghosts? We really brought something in here. We kind of, we're like on the fence about this. So we sleep on it. So we get through the night. Nothing happens. Nothing happens for another 2 or 3 days. But then guess what? All of a sudden we start seeing the dark shadows emerge from the darkness.
Mm.
Yep. I said, forget it. This is the middle of the night. I took all the stuff out and I put it in our garage. Immediately within a couple days, months, weeks went by, we stopped seeing the shadows. And we're like, man, I guess these things sitting out in the garage, there's something to them. So my wife was like, yeah, we better eventually get rid of them. Because what about, they're sitting there in the garage. If that's evil stuff, I want it gone. I said, yeah, well, it's in the garage. It can't come in the house. So springtime comes, I'm in the garage. I'm doing some spring cleaning in the garage, and all these trinkets and all these artifacts are in like the far right corner of the garage. When I open the garage, the sun is in back of the garage, so there was no light coming in. There was just enough light where you could see kind of like dusky look, dusky, like if the sun was setting. But you could see it was good enough for me to start cleaning. And lo and behold, after a half hour into it, guess what I see on the back wall of the garage?
Oh, man.
This dark shadow figure. Dark.
Wow.
I yell, I scream, literally scream at the house, "Rachel, get your ass out here." She comes running out like I, got injured or something. Honey, what's going on? I said, no. And now, of course, when I scream into the house, this thing does go away, disappears. She comes in. I said, man, I seen that shadow again. She goes, where? I said, on the back of the garage, back wall. She looks, well, I don't see nothing there. And there wasn't anything there at this time. So we're sitting there BSing in the garage, and we kind of were actually talking about getting rid of the stuff anyways. to our reluctance, because we didn't really want to. Not to mention the money we spent on the stuff. I think that was our biggest problem. We were young, why you spent this money.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but then I look at her and she's staring at the wall and she points at the wall and she saw the shadow. I see the shadow too.
Oh.
We leave the garage, wait for it to go away. I go back in an hour later. The shadow's gone. I start taking everything out of the garage and I put it in the back of my pickup truck, just threw it back there. And I knew of a dump yard, like a junkyard back in the day by the house or something where you could take, things that the garbage man didn't pick up. There was a dump. So I took everything there, unloaded it into this trash field. The guys took it out of the truck and they said, man, you're throwing away some cool stuff. I said, if you want it, I don't recommend it. I would just throw it away. So I don't know what became of that stuff, if some of the people took those trinkets or if they actually disposed of them. All I know is this: once I got rid of all that stuff, never had a problem again with the darkness, the dark shadows in the house.
Wow.
So then my head gets thinking, did something follow me from childhood, right? But then I think that was part of it, but I do think that it taught me a lesson, because I know a lot of people love antiques. You don't know what you're buying from these secondhand stores or these things. You don't know where they came from. Now, today, I believe that things are haunted. I never believed that. I just thought it was Hollywood, right? But I think there's something to it because I experienced it for sure.
Yeah, I would have never have thought of that in my younger years. I mean, obviously now that we know better, but like Crystal J, I wonder if you could have had them cleansed. I mean, but that wouldn't have been something that would have came across my mind. I would have done the same thing. Let's just get rid of them.
Right.
Yeah. Again, I was thinking about cleansing and lighting incense or whatever they do, right? We don't think about that. We're just out to, we're working and doing our thing. And we'll watch, we'll go to the movies, right? And watch scary movies. I mean, you didn't take nothing into it. All this stuff is made up, right? Well, apparently, today we all know better. We know it's not made up stuff.
Right. So
you think that dark shadow was the same one that you were a kid, or it just changed in form?
Well, I think, the shape was relatively, the dark figure that came out, I remember it came out of that wall, and it was darker than the darkness. It had the same shape of the ghost that I saw as a kid. It was just like it had a head with shoulders, and it had like a draping gown, just like I saw when I was little. But this was dark. It wasn't white, because the other one was white with black eyes. I always tell people, if you watch Scooby-Doo, and people think, oh, Rob, now if you're telling me that was your ghost, Scooby-Doo ghost, well, that's what it'll look like. I'm not going to alter my story.
Right.
That's what I saw, right? It wasn't a fiendish looking ghost that scared the crap out of me. No, it was just, hey man, a sheet with black eyes. But the one in the house, because it was dark, black, that scared me, because that, to me, represented evil. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah, that's weird. I mean, I don't know what you do with that. I mean, other than get rid of all your stuff. But it did eventually, like you said, everything went away after you got rid of them.
After I got rid of that, everything went away.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
now, did you feel evil or any kind of presence like that off of it, or is this?
No, I really did not feel anything. I just, when you see it, you had that feeling. You had a feeling of more scared, like, what is going on? What is this? But I didn't feel. I didn't feel threatened or that it was evil. And what does evil feel like? Even, I guess. But I was more scared than anything.
Right. Or confused.
And confused. Yeah, it's like. Probably the best way to sum it up is, this is not natural.
Right.
What's going on here?
Oh man, that's that's creepy. I can't imagine that. I haven't ever seen anything like that, but Jane's had a dark shadow across the wall,
I see him on the side, and you look over and there's nothing there. I've never seen a ghost, or an apparition, appear in front of me or come in the doorway or anything, but I do see these shadow things, or even at, outside, sitting outside at night, you kind of do see like a dark shadow. You
Yeah.
get the flashlight, there's no skunk or anything. So,
Yeah. And I think the thing that was more worrisome was the fact that why are you seeing these things out of the corner of your eyes? And
right.
I mean, that's something that I should not be seeing. So we were to the point where do we have to go to the doctor? I mean, what do we have? I mean, because we're not really thinking ghosts, really. Because again, we weren't like, that's the last thing that I would have thought of back then at 26, 27 years old. You know what I mean? Ghosts,
Right. Well, I don't think the eye doctor is going to give you the diagnosis either, as you're just seeing ghosts.
Yeah, or say, well, I got a doctor to a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Here's his business card,
Here, try these magic eye drops. See
Yeah,
what
but who's
happens.
gonna go? But who's gonna go to the doctor and say, "Hey, man, I'm seeing these dark shadows at night." You
Right.
kind of look like a weirdo to begin with, right?
Yeah, I think you're seeing the wrong kind of doctor.
Yeah, here's my here's a good shrink for you, kid.
It is weird though. I mean, I have really good peripheral vision, and I can usually see somebody before they get close to my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I do see or think that someone's coming, then I turn around, there's nobody there. So
Yeah.
I do have that.
Yeah, I mean, I have pretty good peripherals, but seeing dark shadows and people like have the shape of a person kind of scooting past really fast at nighttime, darker than darkness, that's a problem, I think.
Yeah. And to have it actually on the wall in front of you, so it's not even like a peripheral thing. It was just like right there in front of you.
No, yeah, we've seen they've seen this object straight on, like when I was a kid, and then started seeing out the sides. But what really convinced me that I wasn't going nuts was when the wife was seeing the peripherals, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, we got to figure this out, and I guess, and we figured it out on our own. But boy, it was pretty stressful, and I got to tell you guys something. During this span of about a year and a half after collecting all of these things, because you asked me, Gerald, about did I feel some evil presence? Well, no, I didn't feel that, but I can tell you this for a fact. During this time of having these things in the house, there was a lot of negative things that were happening. The wife was having problems on her job, right? I had just started a job at Ford's, and I was like a lost soul. I didn't, young kid, I was out of college a couple of years, and I didn't know what I was doing there, right? Got a job with no experience. I got lucky. And then young people, friends of ours, our age, were getting sick, and we had experienced a couple people passed away and things. Things were negative, though. There was I will say, a negative vibe, because because the first couple of years of our marriage was fantastic, and then there's that period of collecting these things where things they were turning south a little bit. But I will say this: when we got rid of the objects, everything started slowly getting more positive. Work was getting better. I was getting way better at work. Her work problems were gone, and life was now good.
Wow.
So was there? I don't believe in a coincidence, but I think things happen for reasons, right? And maybe this was weighing a burden on us, right? That we were carrying and didn't realize it until we took action, which we never would have taken the action had we had called that woman up and kind of scare us a little bit, because we still didn't believe what she was telling us.
Yeah, I mean, the shadow or whatever could have been putting a whole different atmosphere, like you said, on your relationship, or you said you noticed your wife kind of changing a little bit, or maybe moody, maybe more depressed a little bit.
It wasn't happy. It was definitely more negatives than positives during that period.
Now, how long did that happen for?
Like I say, about a year or 2 years, a couple of years. We collected these things over a couple of years, but I didn't start seeing. Neither one of us started seeing any of these presences until maybe after starting that second year. So we had been collecting this stuff for at least a couple of years. So the very first year of having things, there was nothing. So what I'm thinking is, because it all started happening year 2 of our collections, and maybe not everything was possessed or haunted. We probably got a batch somewhere that had something in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I can't believe that every single artifact we got was
Right.
had something going on. Because we had like 40 or 50 different things.
Wow.
So it
Yeah.
looks similar to what you saw when you were 5, but it obviously wasn't the same entity, probably.
Probably not. It's just now that maybe was coincidence. It had the same shape,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So that was a very strange. That was pretty strange. I'll never forget that part of my life. I tell you that. You know, and then so yeah. So that was that with when I was married, and then I got this other pretty cool story about my niece. At the time, she was like 5 or 6, 7 years old. She was old enough where you can talk, right? So I guess maybe 5 or 6. And so my brother and my sister-in-law, they bought a new house in a place called Brownstown, and it was brand new, and they moved in. They're in there about a month. So and they had like 4 bedrooms upstairs, and one bedroom was for me whenever I came over because they lived quite a bit away. So typically when I would go there, I would just go on the weekends and just crash, spend the weekend, and sleep over. So I'm there one night, the first night that I spent the night, actually, after they've been there maybe a couple months. And again, in the bedroom, I shut the bedroom door. It's pretty dark, like most bedrooms. It's shut. I go to bed one night, and my niece is maybe, I don't know, 4 foot tall at the time. And I'm laying in bed one night, and then I see the bedroom door open. It opens about 6 inches in the hallway. He had the hallway laid on for the kids in case they did get out of bed to go to the bathroom. Because I had a niece and a nephew living there. They were both born. She was like 6, he was like 8. So about 6 inches, half a foot of the door opens, and I look, and there's a figure, and it's Lauren. So I think it's Lauren. It was a girl with long hair because she has real, how the girls, your moms and dads grow their hair real long, really
Right.
long hair. And I can see, the shadow of her, the outline of her. And again, it casts a shadow from the room to the light in the hallway. I said, "Hey, Lauren, what's going on? You can't go to bed? You can't sleep? Want to come sleep with Uncle Robbie?" Door's shut. I'm like, "Okay, she's just playing games."
Mhm.
So that was that one night. So a month later, I spend the night, and the same thing happens for the second time. I wake up the next morning. I go, "Lauren, were you playing games with me last night?" Uncle Rob, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I was sleeping. I'm like, "Okay." So I blow it up. It's like, okay, she's probably just messing with me. So about 6 months later, I'm over there again. Now this happens to me a third time. So listen, I jump out of the bed, and she shuts the door. I jump out of bed, and I'm racing down the hallway. "I'm going to get you, you little shit. I'm going to bust you." That's exactly what I said too, running down the hallway. And her room was maybe 20 feet, 30 feet from my bedroom where I was staying. I opened her door, and I'm going to say, "Ha, I got you." You know what? She's laying in her bed, soundly asleep, tucked in tightly because her mom would tuck her in every night. There's no way, and she was asleep. There was no way that little girl could have tucked herself in that tight.
Right.
And there's no way, and she was sound, and she was asleep. And I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. I think and this is after I was married too, and I've been divorced since then. So I remember my encounters. I remember as a kid with ghosts is that I am seeing a ghost in this house of my niece. So I don't
Doppelganger.
say nothing. So we're sitting around Thanksgiving time, so the kids, they were excused from the Thanksgiving table. So it's me, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister-in-law, and another aunt or uncle. We're shooting, we're BSing. So my mom says, you guys, I gotta tell you something. Does Lauren like peeking on your rooms at night and shut the
Oh,
door?
Wow.
And Dave and Karen, that's they're my brother and sister-in-law's name. They just look, they don't say nothing. My mom goes, yeah, because a couple of times when she has spent the night, we're all spend the night people. I mean, when we go somewhere, we don't go home. So you got me for
right.
3, that's how it works. So, so my mom said this is happening at least a couple times. This has happened to her. So Karen says, Ma, I gotta tell you something. And you guys are really gonna think this is strange. But before then I said, well, Karen, before you say that, this has happened to me 3 times. My
Oh,
mom goes, are you kidding me? I go, no. She's like, oh my God, what in the world? So Karen goes, I got you guys. Well, we haven't told you guys this. They have a playroom with the French doors and their glass French doors where Lauren plays and had her toys in there and stuff. And one day Karen was looking in at Lauren and she was talking into the closet
Oh.
with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But now this is the first time Karen saw it. So she opens the door and she goes, Lauren, honey, who are you talking to? And Lauren says, oh, nobody, mama. Karen looks in the closet. She goes, okay, well, okay. keep playing. So she just thought it was a little odd. She says a couple days later, Lauren again, she sees her talking. She goes, man, my kid's got an imagination. She's talking to that closet.
Mm.
But now she comes in and she says, is that you talking to your new playmate? I mean, who are you talking to? Lauren says, my friend Jenny. She goes, oh, well,
Oh.
who's Jenny? She goes, oh, mama, she's a little Indian girl. She goes, Indian girl? Yeah. She's telling me stories that she used to live here. Her family lived here hundreds of years ago.
Oh,
And so
wow.
Lauren is telling my mom, and she's 6. Not my mom, her mom, Karen. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, tell me the story. Yeah, she says the white man massacred her family.
oh,
Mm.
Laura, a little girl, is telling her mom this. Where's she coming up with this, right? I mean, she's 6. Do you have that
right.
thought process as
Mhm.
a 6 or 7-year-old? I don't know. At least I
Right.
can't remember if I did or not. So Karen gets frightened. What does Jenny look like? She looks just like me, but dark black hair and darker complected skin. So
Mm.
she's picking up on this stuff. She tells my brother when he gets home from work and everything, should we take her to the doctor? So my brother says, there's something wrong going on here. He does an investigation on his property because this was a brand new subdivision. So he goes online, goes to the library, whatever he's doing, took him a couple days, started talking to neighborhood people. Well, to make a long story short, this entire piece of parcel where all these homes have been built on is built on an Indian burial ground
Hmm.
where legend has it, history shows that there was a tribal nation was wiped out by cowboys, cowboys and Indians, the real
Right.
life
Mhm.
cowboys
Yeah.
and Indians. The massacre occurred there and wiped out and burnt their village to the ground, and everybody died. And I'm suspecting this was a lost soul or a ghost from the past. So when my brother figured that out, man, I don't know. So he starts investigating, talking to some people in the neighborhood, and a couple people in the neighborhood have seen ghosts in their house too. Not like Lauren, my niece, but they've seen other types of ghosts of adults, kids. Because my brother was wondering too why a lot of for sale signs were going up.
Yeah.
Well, a month later they put their house up for sale because Lauren would continue to see this. So if you back it up, I probably seen that same little ghost that was passed away from the massacre. My mom probably did. Dave and Karen never seen any ghosts, but it was always the Lauren talking into the closet, you know? So yeah, and that, you guys, is pretty
So,
crazy.
so the little Indian girl looked enough like your niece that you thought it was her the
Yeah,
whole time.
it was like this. I thought it was her the entire time.
Wow.
The shape, I could tell by the shadow in the background, you know, long, 4 foot. I could tell she had long hair. Couldn't really see the face because, again, my room was pitch black and that hallway was just dim enough where you, and of course, and I wear contacts, so I take them out at night. So 20 feet away, man, I need contacts to shave. So I see just what I see, and I assume it's her. But my mom seen the same thing. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, I mean, that was something else.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it must have had an attachment or a fondness of your niece, and so wherever the niece went, that's when it started showing up in everybody's houses, or did it happen when the niece wasn't around even?
You know, I don't know the answer to all that, but I do have a follow-up to this story.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is related or not. I was sleeping in my bedroom about 3 years ago. And my niece actually lives, that niece now, who's a grown woman now, she's in her 20s, lives down the block from me. We're such a tight-knit family. My whole family and my best friends, we're all within 5 miles of each other. So we walk, you know, we can walk over everyone's houses. I'm sleeping one night and my door opens in my bedroom, and I normally leave my bedroom door open. I don't shut it. I leave it open. That's what I feel comfortable with, right? But for whatever reason, one night I shut my bedroom door. So I'm sleeping in bed. Now, right at the base of my bed, I can look forward, and there is, you know, the door, and it's off in the corner, so I can look out when I get up or whatever. But for whatever reason, I shut it. And it was the middle of the night, and this door opens. I don't know how it opens because I know that I shut it for whatever reason. It collapsed shut. It opened up, and I saw a shadow of my niece again. And I was a grown woman standing there. The door's shut. I get out of the bed, and here's the crazy thing: I get out of the bed. I'm yelling. I'm saying, I think it's her automatically. I said, "Lauren, I don't care that you're over, but you scared the shit out of me." And I go to grab the door, and it won't open. But then after several seconds, it was stuck, and it finally opened, and there's nobody in my house.
Wow.
So I call my niece. I call her right away. And I don't know why I even did this because the doors were all locked and everything, but I saw what I saw is what I saw. And I just remember, and I don't know what I'm thinking, right? Because I just remember seeing her maybe as a little kid, which wasn't her. So I'm thinking, what is this? I call her. She answers the phone. Hello. Yeah, Uncle Rob, what's up? What do you think's up? It's 3:30 in the morning. What's going on?
Yeah.
I know. I said, never mind. I know she wasn't over. That happened to me one time, but never again. But never again. So I don't even know what the hell that was.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, how does stuff like that happen? How did it change? Did it look like you said? Did it was?
Yeah, it looked like it kind of looked like an adult version of my niece.
Oh,
which
wow.
she was an adult.
Right. So it changed along with her then.
Changed along with her.
Wow.
Now, why would it follow me and not her?
Yeah.
If that's even the case, right?
Well, you were the one that she was opening up the door and peeking at.
Yeah. I never looked at it that way.
Maybe your house is where she was laid to rest, or the last place she was when she died.
Well, not my house. My house is like many miles away from from my brother and sister-in-law.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm supposed the spirit could travel, but why travel after me? She had a relationship with my niece, talking to her supposedly, but she was looking at me and my mom too. So, you know, of course, I call my mom. Hey, you know, have you ever seen any ghosts since, you know, the little one at my brother and at Dave's house, Dave and Karen's? No, why? And I'm like, No reason. I just thought I'd ask you. And of course, you know how moms are. Why? What did you see? Well, yeah, I think I saw a ghost.
Well, after they sold the house, I take it didn't follow them, and they never experienced
Yeah, they
anything
have not
like that.
had a Lauren's fine. You know, the thing about Lauren today, she don't even hardly remember any talking to little Jenny, as she named her.
Wow.
That's almost like something she don't remember
Huh.
because we tell her the story, and she's like, "What are you guys talking about?"
Wow.
Yeah.
I hear stories about kids with their imaginary friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
Huh.
maybe it's in your family. Like if your mom saw it and your niece had the imaginary friend or the ghost friend, and maybe it runs in there, so it's an attraction to all of you. Maybe you're all open to that.
Yeah, I guess perhaps, you know, because
Besides, you're just a likable guy. Why wouldn't they come to you?
yeah, I got
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's, now that I think about it, it's just weird that you've had so many different experiences like that, And I've had so many different weird ones and this is all prior to the Bigfoot, encounter. And the stuff after Bigfoot I've had happen after that too. So it's like, you know, I
Well,
don't
and
know.
then I heard you tell a story about your bar being haunted. So it actually did
Mhm.
kind of continue after that.
I had my bar was haunted. I saw 4 apparitions in my bar.
Hmm.
I was I got whispers from a lot of the employees that, you know, late at night they would clean up the bar. All the tables would be cleared off and there'd be like remnants left over, a couple extra empty beer bottles, or there'd be a shot glass, a pop glass, whatever. And they know they put everything away. Stuff would mysteriously fall out of cabinets and shatter on the ground. And so a lot of the employees didn't really want to tell me because, first of all, I don't know why they would think this. I would never fire anybody, but I guess they didn't want me thinking that they were, drinking too much at the bar, right? Instead of doing their job. So they kind of kept it all to themselves. So there was rumors I heard, yeah, there's stuff going on. And I normally worked when I worked that place, I usually went in at 10 in the morning and I usually left about 10 at night. And but we would stay open. By the time you cleared out the bar, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning by the time you get
Mm-hmm.
done with your paperwork and everything. So this one week I was working like from morning open till close for like a week. So I was there. I literally slept there because in the bottom, because we had a basement of this place where I had a room set up with a bed. Because I told all of my employees, if you ever felt like you couldn't drive home, let's say, because sometimes it's been known where some of your bar people customers would buy them some drinks. And I said, look, as long as you don't screw up the records or the money, I don't really care, but don't drive drunk. Sleep,
Right.
spend the night. Or if you just don't want, and a lot of times late, the girls, if the cook had the night off or went home early, I didn't like them leaving the bar by themselves at night. If they didn't
Mm-hmm.
have somebody pick them up, I said, call me, I'll meet you over there, or call a friend. Because I didn't like that either. It wasn't a bad neighborhood, but you don't know what people are doing at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
especially right around a bar. So, so I had a bedroom kind of set up for whoever. So I was kind of crashing there instead of going home. I said, screw it, I got to work here 5 hours anyway. So I'm in the basement doing some book work, and I clean up the place. And again, the bar tables are clear. All the bar counter is clear. Everything's clear. And I'm in the office, and then I hear it sounds like chattering, people chit chatting upstairs.
Oh.
So I'm like, wow, what's going on? And I'm listening, and I don't feel like going up there. Am I hearing things? Thinking maybe it's outside But I'm in the basement and I know it's upstairs. So I start going up the stairs. And I reach the top of the stairs and I look down the bar and I don't see anything. And in fact, the chit chatting isn't even going on.
Hmm.
However, though, what I do is I continue up the stairs and I check all the bathrooms because you'd be surprised what you find in the bathroom sometimes. People passed out sometimes. So I just made a double check. I looked everywhere. There's all the doors are locked. There's not a soul in this place. And as I come back, I kind of scan all the tables and everything's clean, kind of what you are used to doing on a daily basis. You always look for empty bottles and glasses.
Right.
Go back into the basement, into the office area. Now this chatter starts up again.
Hmm.
I throw down my pen. What the? Go up, and I get to the top of the staircase. And when I get to the top, when you look slightly to your left, you see the bar about 30 feet away. It's a big square. And at the opposite farthest corner, I see 4 figures sitting there. Two with their backs facing me as I'm looking, and 2 on the other. So if you got the corner, they're on 2 sides of the corner,
Right.
Okay. And there's 4 apparitions because I can see these things and I can hear them kibitzing about, chattering about, but I can see right through them.
Wow.
They weren't full. They weren't body.
Okay.
They weren't physical. And the funny thing about this is, well, I wouldn't say funny. The thing about this is they were all dressed like in Prohibition style clothing. I could just tell, even though they were transparent, I could still make out the clothing.
Mm-hmm.
The women had like those frilly, like long little dresses. They had those little bands, like a flapper would wear or something. And the 2 dudes had like John Dillinger style gangster suits, it looked like a suit. But again, I could see the description in these things, but yet it was transparent, but it had color to them, And I'm shaking my head. Now, at this point, with all the things that I've seen in my life, right? You would think that I'd be like in shock. And you know what? I was like, well, something weird is happening to good old Rob again.
Well, at least they weren't shadow figures this time.
Yeah,
you saw what they look like.
And and when I tell this story, people are like, Rob, were you scared? I'm like, no, because again, of my previous experiences, I was kind of expecting something to turn up once again in my life. So, and the reason why I wasn't scared when I tell the stories, I start edging towards the opposite end of where they're sitting because I want to get a closer look and I want to try to hear what they're saying. So I'm kind of moving toward, like now I'd be toward my left and they're at the opposite end. And I'm making noise because I want them to recognize that I'm there. But they're going about their business, they're just ignoring me, right? And so I'm at the other end of the bar and I'm like 30 feet away from corner to corner. I'm staring at these people, ghosts, apparitions. And I say, hey. I yell at him. I say, hey, Adam. I want to get some sort of, I say, hell with it. I can't go nowhere. I'm locked in with these people, these ghosts. No answer. And then I go, hey, and I take my fist and I slam it at the corner at the bar so they can hear it. They heard it.
Oh.
And the two ghostly men, the women kind of ignored me and they were chit-chatting at each other, I can remember. And then the 2, Bonnie and Clyde, the 2 Don Dillinger looking type dudes look at me. Again, you can't really make out the faces. You can make out the faces that they were people at one time. I clearly know they're ghosts. I know they are.
Right.
But here's the weird thing. Remember how I told you that there was never any glassware on top of the bars or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
As I'm looking down this bar, there's a bottle of wine, there's a 5th of Jack Daniels, and there's 2 shots glasses. There was whiskey in both shot glasses.
Oh, wow.
I can see remnants of wine in the wine glasses.
Wow.
Now, the shot glass, one of the shot glasses from the one closest to me, takes that ghostly hand out, appears to wrap it around the glass. Now, this is where I can't see what my eyes are seeing. The glass elevates about a half a foot up, maybe 6 is up over a foot. But he can tell that I can see through that hand. I'm like, how is this happening? What now? Now that I said I wasn't scared, I was kind of a little chilled now. But then the glass slips out of the hand. It hits the top of the bar. It comes crashing down on top of the bar, which is a wood bar top. If anybody knows anything about shot glasses, they're made very well. They're thick. It's very hard to break them. And from about a foot elevation hitting a wood bar, they shouldn't shatter. This thing shattered all over the place.
Oh, wow.
That should never happen. It's impossible.
Wow.
You'd have to take it and whip it down as hard as you could. And even then, from 12 inches, there's not enough force to do that. It's just not. That happens. I look at these 4 apparitions. Then they kind of morph. They start morphing and fading away, and they appear to get like older until they just kind of evaporated.
Wow.
So I go down. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I go towards the corner. I walk towards that area where they were sitting. And you guys, I put my fingers down. It was Jack Daniel's whiskey. It was glass. The wine was open. In fact, this bottle of Jack Daniel's was open, and it was a brand new bottle, because you know how you have the paper? It was clearly ripped, and I knew that it was a part of the inventory. And the wine was open with the cork out of it and everything.
So that was your inventory then. So it wasn't something that disappeared. That was
off my shelf. It was and it came off of the shelf.
Wow.
Oh man.
Now ghosts are not supposed to do that, you guys.
No.
Well, they should have paid for it.
Yeah, I'm sure they had a lot of money. They're 2 gangsters. So what I did too, though, you guys, is and again, by this part of my life, I am into the paranormal and stuff by now, right?
Right.
And everything else. I actually, it's kind of became a hobby, right? So I did, but I never looked up about this bar. And you know that this bar was the original foundation that's still there today in place, was open. And this was a speakeasy during Prohibition.
Oh, I was going to ask you if that's what it was before.
So these people were there they were probably customers of this place years ago. I mean, that's what I come up with.
That's kind of weird that it could physically pick up that shot glass, though, for being a residual ghost, if that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Now, and maybe that's the energy that I mean, I'm sure it couldn't have picked it up. I mean, it was transparent. So my thinking is, was there something else in there playing along with them? Or is that just the energy of the spirit could present, I guess, is the word. I don't know what the word is.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't go, but you guys, I stayed the night. I said, I'm not leaving. I'm just gonna stay up all night and just see if they come back. And I didn't even get no sleep. So my cook comes in about 8:30 in the morning, and then my one of the girls, and I'm looking at them. I say, yeah. So I've heard. Tell me about these rumblings about this place being haunted. And they both look at each other like, what do you mean? Oh, I know you guys have been talking about it. You guys won't tell me for whatever reason. Well, guess what? This place is haunted. And then they like start. Then I told them the story. They're like, then they're like flabbergasted. They're like, I can't believe this. And the girl says, I'm not working tonight again in here. I said, now I'll fire you. Don't be telling me that. No, just kidding. But so that was I tell you, of all the things I've experienced, to see something like that was probably my number one experience, because I actually seen with my own eyes something that looked like people. I mean, the one about my niece was pretty cool, and this might even be more I might like this even better than my Bigfoot encounter because I didn't like my Bigfoot encounter at all. But I think this is number one for me. Things I've seen.
Yeah.
That I mean, I like all your stories, and I agree. I like the one where you actually were able to see them, and they actually heard you pound on the table. That
Yeah,
was
I mean
cool.
they paid attention. Yeah, they looked, but
So
they
it
were
makes
ignoring
me,
me. But they were minding their own business. They didn't care that I was there until I kind of. I guess that maybe it was a threatening motion. That's why they. Then that's why they left. Maybe I don't know.
well, it makes me wonder if you were seeing through a timeline and you interrupted them sitting at a table having a conversation.
Yeah, I've been told that. It's a good
Mhm.
theory. Like many people have told me that I was interrupting them, and they were they're part of the place.
But then I wonder why you didn't see a whole crowd of people in the bar. That would have been really crazy.
Oh, now that would be Hollywood stuff there. I mean, that I don't know that. That's a Hollywood story in itself, I think. But now wouldn't that have been something? I go up there, it's like you guys saw The Shining.
Yeah, I was
Remember
thinking
that big ballroom was filled with all those people. That's yeah.
Wow. Now, did anyone else see the 4 people, or did they have different experiences?
No, the only experience they had is they've heard voices all the time when they were in the basement, but nobody's told me, right, that they had seen anything. They've heard, but they always get kind of frustrated because at least once or twice a week, there's always a bottle or two left behind that they know that they put away, and it happens like frequently, not every week, a couple times a month maybe, but it happens. But they hear voices again occasionally. Again, I sold the bar in 2020, right before COVID, right?
Yep.
And I wasn't no premonition on my part. I just got lucky because now that place, unfortunately, is out of business because when we had the pandemic going on, in the state of Michigan alone, 3,000 people, restaurateurs and bar owners, lost their businesses.
Wow.
And the guy that I sold mine to went belly up, which is too bad.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's a shame because it stands there and the parking lot's full of weeds. Place looks like shit.
So the building's still there then? Because I think I remember you on a SOR telling Dave that you guys should open up a ghost bar.
That's what Dave wants. Dave wants to open up a Sasquatch bar.
A
Sasquatch bar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's he's told me that many times. And I don't know if he's kidding or half-ass serious because every time I talk to the guy, he wants to open up a bar up north. He wants it to be a Sasquatch bar.
That would be cool though if you could open that bar back up and get some kind of deal going on at the Ghost to have them appear while you're
hey, come. That would probably be $1 million a year gold mine. Come here, visit the Ghost, have a drink with the Ghost.
Have a drink with the Ghost.
Have a drink with John Dillinger, the Ghost of John Dillinger.
Have coffee with Sasquatch.
Yeah, or coffee with Sasquatch, right?
Oh, I don't know about that. Can you imagine going in a bar and all of a sudden you have Bigfoot, Dogman sitting at the table playing poker or something, drinking up?
You know how they got that
bar?
You know how everyone's seen the dogs playing poker picture? You got a Dogman, Sasquatch, a couple of ghosts hanging out.
Yeah.
Mothman, you have
cryptids sitting around the table playing poker. I think their ante be a little more than I'd want to pay.
Yeah. Come hang out at the cryptid corner.
That's perfect. Cryptid corner.
That's actually a good name now for something, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So so that's
Cryptid corner.
I've had an interesting life, that's for sure.
Oh, if you could only go back in time and change the name and do differently with that bar.
Well, I just wish I would have hung on to it. But I was getting burnt out, you guys. I had the place for 13 years, and I literally did work 80 hours. I worked.
Yeah.
In the first 3 years, I had to move back in with my parents. That's how I got divorced. Because I had a good job at Ford, right? And I told the wife, I've been saving up some money to buy a bar. She goes, "What the hell are you talking about? You got a good job." I said, "Yeah, well, I always wanted a business." "Well, you never told me this before we got married." So she didn't dig it when I had to move in with mom and dad for 3 years. I had to make money for 3 years. Then the last 10 years, so we kind of parted ways. But that's life. Hey, life. Things in life happen for a reason. I am a believer in that. So.
Yep. I agree.
And Edna sees you need to get that painted. Maybe Jason can paint that bar scene for you for the cryptid corner.
Yeah, there you go. Jason does a great job. I know you're showing the book right there, but this is all Jason's artwork. And yeah, he does a great.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah, there
yeah,
you
we
go.
got
Yeah,
our copy too.
yeah. Thanks for that. But thanks to everybody who's bought this book thus far. It's doing pretty good, I guess. I don't know how good is but it's made a few sales and it's pretty cool.
Well, I know they can't click on the link, but there's the link for your Amazon book.
And if you just type my name in on Amazon, if you type Bigfoot Michigan Rob, I think the book pulls up now.
Oh, it popped right up for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks. I see Lily. I can't. Hello to everybody who came on in today. Appreciate it, you guys. Yeah. So
yeah, we just got ours Thursday, so we haven't started reading it yet.
No, yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I must say I put some time. It took over a year to do, and then Jason. Not only did Jason, I'd have to give Jason some props because he did the cover. He did some light editing for me, and he did help me download it and get it published through the Amazon. So
thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie. Yeah.
No, when I first started watching you, and I would never have million years thought that you were a writer or an author or would ever have that.
Well, only a month now. I've only been an author for a month,
Oh,
but I've always been
a new author.
But I'm just saying, listening to you this whole time, I would never have pictured you as being a writer. I mean, I don't know how I would even start writing a book because I'm not very good at grammar.
I didn't think you were a podcaster.
I got to tell you guys something. I wrote a book in my 20s, and it was called The Vampiress Gabriella. Okay, now it's a true story. Unfortunately, way before Twilight came out, and it was not a romance novel, but it was about a female vampire that lived in the Pacific Northwest, and she dwelled and lived in the cave systems, and she paraded around as a highfalutin, wealthy woman, but she was really a vampire that lived in the caves underneath the beach, underneath the mountains in the Pacific Northwest. So I was kind of just give you an idea. So I had 385 pages written on this book. And in fact, my aunt was going to send a copy of it to a publisher she knew that lived in New York City. So I was extremely excited about this because she thought it was just fabulous. I gave her the first couple of chapters to read. But this, you guys, was back in the day where the computer looked like a box. Mm-hmm. And I was not adept at backing stuff up or saving stuff on discs like you had to do. So I'm in the middle of writing, and I'm almost done with this thing. And I was the type of writer, didn't have notes. I just, whatever comes in my head, I type. And then I go back and re-edit. I don't write nothing down, nothing. And I didn't back this book up. Electrical storm came. I can laugh about it today. Electrical storm came through, lost power, lost every single word I wrote.
Oh, wow.
My writing career was over because I was so teed off that I never took it up again.
Wow.
That's how bad. That's how
devastated.
Yeah. I mean, that was a long time I did that. And like a dummy, I had no notes and I couldn't rewrite it from memory because it would not have been the same book at all.
Right.
You just, there's only certain things you can remember. You're talking about you're talking 200,000 plus words.
And then you lost this book too, right? The one you just wrote?
No, I didn't lose this one. Mm-mm.
So it must have been that one then.
Okay, I thought you were
the vampire book that I wrote.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost. That was way bigger than this one. When I was in my 20s when I wrote that one.
Wow.
But yeah, so
wow.
So I said, well, because that's kind of what I wanted to do. I always wanted to go on broadcasting and journalism, even as a kid. And my dad told me, Yeah, you'd be probably better off doing something else because you're either gonna make it or break. You're either gonna have a good job or be, bust the tables, like they say. That's the only thing that my dad told me that I wish I would have went against him on. So I said, "Okay, Dad, I'll do the other thing." But yeah, I'd had been my first job today from the age of 18. So but I didn't. So I'm doing it now in my 50s.
So what was the title of the vampire
The
book?
vampirist Gabriella. I wasn't like that was kind of going to be it, but it was Gabriella was the name of the vampire. I didn't really know what the title would have been because this book, the last thing I did with this book was make the title. This title was untitled until the day it got published. So I had like 10 different names for it because I wanted to promote also what I did that I like about this book, if I must say. I wanted to tie it into my channel because I figured, well, I want subscribers on my YouTube channel. So I said, I got to kind of incorporate that. It's about cryptids, true stories that I've got these stories from people throughout the last couple of years. So that's how I came up with Bigfoot Michigan Rob Presents True Cryptid Encounters. In the back says, from the successful Bigfoot channel, blah, blah, blah. Make myself look like some stud, right? So now people that buy the book will hopefully subscribe to the channel. So you kill two birds with one stone,
Yep. There you go. Maybe
But
you can write that vampire book now.
Yeah, maybe. I got so much ideas in my head. I like to do book 2 on this, but I think that with what I told you guys today about my personal life, there's probably a book in there somewhere. Because I got a lot of other things, and my life ain't over. Knock on wood.
Well, how soon are you going to start working on book 2? If
I'm
you've got
taking
enough
a break
stories?
from that. I got the stories already.
Right.
I'm just waiting a year, probably a year. I gotta let this. I want to see how this does because I don't want to flood the market.
We've asked viewers, to send us their stories, whether cryptid, UFO, whatever,
Yeah.
And we've got a few, but not near what the response you've got.
I get lucky. I started doing that immediately, like 2 years ago.
Wow.
My channel's officially been up for 2 years. I mean, it'll show like 5 years or 6 years, but I didn't start doing the podcast until 2 years ago.
Wow.
But I started marketing it immediately. Because that was my draw to get, because I wanted these people at first to come on as a guest, but then a lot of people were like, no, I want to be in anonymity. I said, well, can you send me your story then? Okay. So I just would tell people that. And so I'm getting all these stories, you guys. Well, what the hell am I going to do with all these stories? So now, as you guys know, I do drop videos of the stories on the channel. I said, man, I could probably get a book. So I started contacting a lot of the people that are in this book. I said, hey, first of all, can I do a video on it? Yes. Then months later, I'd call them back. I'm thinking about doing a book. Do you care? No. So that's all cool. So yeah, it kind of worked out good. Now, of course, a lot of the stories, I have to say, I did have to put a lot of time into the book because people that sent in their stories were maybe 50 words, not descriptive. I saw Bigfoot crossing the road. It was June 15th. My name is John. John, you gotta give me more, man. I'm not gonna even put this as a video. It's stupid. What else? Was it a sunny day? Was it raining? How many kids you got? How many times? You are a researcher. Oh, okay. So yeah. So that was the hardest part. Was turning this. I had to use some of my own creativity to give description. Tell me where was it?
Right.
Was it in the mountains? What mountain? What state park? Yeah, what state?
Yeah.
You don't have to give me your name. Just Joe Blow. I don't care about your name.
Yeah, write it like a police report.
Because I tell the people, if it's going to be true, then I need factual information here. Because I will tell you this: I looked up a lot of these places in here, and they all shape up, and they are actual places and accounts. Not all of them. I did that too, but just for my own peace of mind,
Right.
And so kind of it worked out pretty well, I thought. So
well, everybody out there in chat, you'll have to send Rob your stories for book 3.
Yeah, book
or
3.
I'll make a video too, because people do like the videos. So
Oh yeah,
Good.
you can turn them into videos too. Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
can
really
do
like
that.
those shorts
Audio
you're
book.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Oh yeah, this is on Kindle too, but it's on the I don't know how to make this. Yeah, an audiobook on this would be cool. I don't know
Yeah.
because this is also on Kindle. But if I don't, I'm old school. I like the book. I don't like reading on my phone or the computer
Yeah,
because
Yeah, I read
my
a
eyes
book.
can't take it. I got those old eyes now. I don't know how these kids can do it.
I don't
I don't
either.
know. Each year, our eyes are getting worse and worse.
We had to upgrade our equipment so we had big monitors so we can actually read the chat.
Yeah.
I got a big monitor here too. I got one a while ago. Compared to because I was using a laptop when I first started podcasting.
We were
And
using our tablets. Yeah, our
so now
Samsung tablets.
but you know what, you guys, in the future, because Randy, you guys, you know who kind of Randy is with us. You know, it's
Oh, Rando? Yeah.
Rando, our tech guy.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I picked up a system, a tower, plug right into the actual router. It's got more memory than I can use, which is awesome. Big screen, $239 on Amazon, just refurbished. It's
Oh,
everything's.
wow.
And I said I don't buy refurbished stuff. That was my thing. I don't want nothing used. But the only thing that's used is the chassis. Is the chassis that it sits in because all the components are brand new, and these components only cost like a dime. So $239. The same. I priced it out. If I'd have bought my system brand new from like a Best Buy, it would have cost $1,700. I got it for
Oh wow.
Wow.
$239. So anybody out there that wants a computer, I was against it. Buying stuff on Amazon, refurbished, best computer I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then now we're using Brave because we heard you talk about Brave.
Yeah, well, somebody else was telling me about Brave because I use WoW still. Brandy's been using Brave on her tablet and has had a lot of success with it. Because I used to lose my internet at least for like a minute for every show.
Mm-hmm.
But the last several, as you can see, I haven't bugged out yet.
Yep.
And it's usually they'll only have a storm. So, and today's been great. Or if it's like 95 degrees.
Yeah.
Well, you see where I live though. I have Detroit Edison is my power company. And when it hits 90 degrees, you guys, you know what? I don't know about you guys. They turn down the controls on the energy. So you have less energy flowing into your house, which lags the computer.
Right.
Oh,
I'm like, you
yeah.
guys, you can't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them, I call them, say, man, you're costing me thousands of dollars. I work, I make my living on the internet, right? You're screwing me every day. So you're gonna send me a rebate check? Whoa,
Right.
no, they sent me $30 because I bitched enough one time. Yeah.
That was nice of them.
Yeah. Then I found out they did it to a million other people that lived in Michigan, so I wasn't special.
Thought they were coming after you. Huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
my
I
goodness.
thought that they listened to me and they were planning on doing it all along.
Oh man. Yeah, you have brownouts, where they do reduce the power during certain times. And of course, it's when everybody wants to use all the electricity for the air conditioners and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just noticed in chat, Penny Van. I'm gonna have to contact you, Penny, for my next one. Penny builds her own computers and buys all the components. So that's
There you
probably
go.
a good way to go too. I'm gonna jot you down, Penny.
Well, our son, he's a gamer on Twitch, and he pretty much builds his own now. And he keeps talking to us like, "Oh, come on, I want to build your computer." We might eventually. Right now, we're using their old computers that they're not using. So hey, it's working.
Yep.
But yeah, he builds his own and knows how to do it. It's a lot cheaper.
The way I've always been, I always tore everything apart, as a kid.
Yeah.
Learn how it works, but
yeah.
So I got my first computer in junior high when they first coming out with the Ataris that were gaming systems and like a basic computer at the same time. So I started building my own computers. I actually did that my whole life, growing up and through high school, college, and all that. And so I could do it, but I just don't want to.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of things we can do that we don't want to do.
Right.
Well, it's funny. We're talking about my niece all day today, and I do have to get her dog back to her. She sent me a text. Can you bring the dog over? I'm like, okay.
She said,
But,
"To what dog?"
yeah. You mean the one that the ghost took back to the cemetery?
Say, oh shoot, I forgot I had your dog.
Yeah.
Well, we're at the hour 20 mark, so it's a
Yeah.
good time to stop
Yeah,
right now
that's
if you
cool.
got stuff you need to do.
Yeah, I got to take care of that really quick, and I'm sure she wants the little puppy back. And then he's got to go out anyway. I can tell.
All right. Well, this is a
I
good
do. Hey,
time
listen, man. I appreciate you, Gerald and Jane, having me on. You guys do a great job on your show, and also with William Nighthawk, what you guys do. And I'm a fan, always have been. So I thank you guys for having me on.
Well, thanks for being here. We appreciate it
Yes.
so much. And we do see you in chats, and we try
Oh,
to
yeah.
get up to all your guys' chats, whether it's you
Yep.
or Texas or Bonds
Oh,
and Blues or
Oh, yeah.
Jason and Donnie. And
Somebody's.
Yeah, there's somebody. It's funny. Every time I go hit a show, I always see you guys. So everybody, and that's the cool thing, all the support across all the channels, and that helps
Yeah.
everybody, help everybody out. What we don't need is bitching and moaning and complaining. Oh, this guy's doing a show on Tuesday. This guy's doing on Wednesday. I mean, who cares? Just do what you got to do. That's what the replay button's for, right?
right.
Yeah. We just talked about that last night. I said there's so many times that I've got a show on my phone, another show on my tablet, another show on my old tablet. I'm getting too old to try to keep an eye on everybody. You've got to hit watch later once in a while and just focus on
Yeah, that's
show.
what you. And in fact, I'm getting to the point where I'm not even in chat a lot of times because I usually watch it on TV and put it on the phone if I want to chat. Because I like watching shows actually on the TV, not on the computer or the phone. I just don't like staring at it,
Right.
So half the time I'm watching on TV.
Yep, we are too. We have it on Roku. We bring up everybody's channels and so everybody in chat, make sure you go over to Bigfoot Michigan Rob if you haven't already subscribed and liked his content over there and hit that notification bell for him. And
oh yeah, that's a great point because I've noticed this too. Everybody, whoever you guys follow channels, make sure you are still subscribed because I've been unsubscribed from you guys once.
Oh wow!
Somebody else once I had to resubscribe, and I noticed that the notifications aren't on. A lot of people send me in comments on chat, not on chat, but like when you get the comments on your show.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get the alert. I'm like, well, yeah, I know because a lot of people have been telling me that. So the alert bell is important. I don't know why that happens. It does.
Or they let you know when you're 20 minutes in the show. And I went, you're now letting me know that they started?
That does happen too. The alert bell. I'll get an alert bell 20 minutes into a show.
Yeah.
Yep. That's annoying.
Yep, I know.
All right. Well, hey, Lily Pond, thank you.
With our Sunday night routine, everybody knows what to do. We have to go over to Duke's channel and pick on him and say hi to him.
Oh, yeah.
And then his show will be starting at 8 o'clock Central Time.
Very good.
All right.
Well, I do appreciate it.
Here, Rob.
Yep.
And
Thank you.
Everybody in chat.
We love you.
Everybody have a wonderful rest of their night and be kind to others and show love and kindness to everyone.
And keep looking up.
Yes,
Thank
look
you.
up. Look
Bye,
up.
everyone.
Bye-bye.